Did you guys do a lot of research into witchcraft and Wiccan and all that before taking on the roles, or were you pretty much knowing where you were going with the roles?
I did a whole, I mean, I did, you know, thank God for the Google. I did Google some stuff, and just so I get in the mindset. I know for me, my character's scries, I can see, and I figure, because I'm a dancer first, Valarie, naturally, so I felt anything she does is, you know, almost like choreography. And so, and I wanted to make sure that was right. So I did books on how people, when they do spells and certain things, they have choreography, really, each one individually. So I wanted to make sure I stay true to anyone who does practice any type of craft.
I didn't prepare in that way because I didn't know. I didn't want to bring something to the table in the sense that was then not going to be right. I wasn't sure how they envisaged Sarah and them and what their world was going to be like, and so it was. We had time because we are sort of slowly drip fed into the show. We basically had time to sort of evolve during the show. I mean, for the first, oh my gosh, it seemed forever. All we ever were doing was sitting on the porch at the end of a phone. And in doing that and sitting on the porch, you sort of look around, you see how the porch has been designed, what sort of props and little bits and pieces the designers along with Deborah have sort of created, and that kind of slowly also informed the sort of life that Em and Sarah were living, and also it informed the kind of nature of the personalities a bit. So that was it. And then in the interior of the room, because Sarah has her own special room where she does all of makes her potions, her soaps, her creams that she'll sell then in markets, farmers markets and things. And that felt very much like this is Sarah's domain. But that was kind of it. I was doing a show in South Africa at the same time for a little bit simultaneously, and I did go and meet a witch doctor healer, and I wanted to talk to him as somebody who absolutely sees himself as a living, working witch, essentially. And I spent some time with him in a very small, somewhat scary kind of interior little tiny house thing, and I came back with some porcupine quills that I gave to Valarie, but we had those also then on the set, and those are actually something that are used in some of the creams or potions that he was working on. So though I'm not 100% sure because what he would use it for, because it's an irritant. The tip of the porcupine quill is actually an irritant. So
with the novels having such a passionate fan base, how are you feeling about delivering on the anticipation that the fans are so excited for this series to be?
It's always scary. Yeah, I'm a fan of Harry Potter, all that kind of stuff. So I know what that's like as a fan. When you have an idea of what your favorite character is going to be like, you just have to trust. You have to trust that they're going to do right by it, and you also have to let go because things are going to be different. It's not going to be like the book, and it shouldn't be. It's a living, breathing thing. It's a whole other venue.
There's an element. There's a very strong element within the Bishop household that is not present and is very much sort of present in the book, and it kind of is part of the atmosphere of the Bishop house. And I know there was a lot of back and forth about whether this particular element should be added or not, but it was something that was going to be so costly and also in a way would sort of slightly detract from the drive of the narrative, that the decision was made not to include this element, and that might be something that the fans will probably very immediately go, oh my gosh. But I hope that they understand the reasons why, and that it is that the story has to just keep being sort of pushed forward. But we were aware of that, weren't we? Yes. But again, like Valarie said, there are things that you just can't include everything, and there are some things that will have to fall by the wayside.
Can you talk a bit about the relationship between your two characters and how they fit into Diana's life?
Well, because we raised her because of what happened to her parents, and we have a huge influence on her. At the same time, she's a willful soul, and she wants to be normal, and we're like, no, you're not normal. And so there's a, with any, unfortunately, I'm not a mom in real life, but I can only imagine what it's like, having your own children, and when they grow up and you get into those, 14, 15 rebellious years, and we went through that with Diana, and we had to let go, and let I was going to say let go and let God, but let go and let whatever, depending on which belief. But it's a close dynamic, and we were just at a point, I think, in the story. It can be a little awkward because she is very adamant about using her powers, and we're very proud of who we are and what we've come to know as witches, and as creatures, we're starting to lose our powers with everyone, the vampires, demons, and witches, because of what's happening in the world, and we really want her to own that and enjoy who she is. Yeah. So that changes the dynamic.
I think also, again, it's sort of like anyone who's gone through a tragedy. Diana's parents were murdered, and Sarah and Em know why or the reasons for their murder. They might even have suspicions as to who may have murdered them, but they don't know for sure. But certainly there is darkness around the deaths of her parents, and so to raise this child and to keep that child protected and to fear for that child's safety as this girl gets older and wants to step out into the world, the answer naturally, particularly Sarah, is going to be naturally overprotective, without really being able to explain fully to Diana why. And even Diana going to Oxford and wanting to take the path of being a professor and writing theses, and she's far away from them, and I think that doesn't sit comfortably. I mean, Em is incredibly supportive of what Diana's doing, but Sarah is conflicted. But I think Sarah and Diana are sort of closer in terms of their feistiness and stubbornness, and so of course they're going to butt heads much more frequently.
So true.
Sorry, no, go ahead. So with so many shows right now on TV, television changed a lot, right? What do you think Discovery will bring to TV, thinking that the books has such a big fan base?
Well, I think, I mean, when we first started on this venture, and you don't know, when you're filming, you have no actual sense or idea of how it looks on camera. You don't know how it's going to be edited together. You don't know what the look of the show is going to be. And I kept thinking, how is it going to be different? Because we have had this genre a lot in film and television. So what is going to make this different? And all I can say is it looks really cool. It's not sort of hokey. It's definitely not just like teen for the teens. Although I'm sure they're going to jump on board and love it. There's a kind of cool element to it, and it's more adult. The themes and the arguments within the show are they're adult. So yeah, and it's just got this sort of just like cool look to it, and I think that's what sets it apart.
Yeah, and it just cinematically, the hues, the colors, the way it was shot, and when you have 3 different directors and they all have to be on the same page, and they all are on the same page, just visually, it's just you're right. No other word to say. It's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is different because I love all this stuff. Like, give me, witches, demons, vampires, Harry Potter, all that stuff. Lord of the Rings, come on, True Blood, all that stuff. But it's different. It's different. You need charm. I always think I love that TV series, Charm. There's just a coolness. And yeah, not only cool, but cool. Yeah. This is something. It's just something about it.
What do you think M loves the most about Sarah and Sarah loves the most about M?
Well, I don't know if I can tell you. To use your imagination.
Well, I love her. Just look at her. That's what I mean. You know what I mean. I know that the fieriness. She's the yin to my yang, and
they've been together a long time.
Yeah.
And so they've kind of grown up together. Haven't
Respect.
they? Really.
Respect.
Yeah. They are. I think because they are so different, they've just sort of been drawn together.
Yeah.
Because
I've kind of been part of your family. Being best friends.
Why do you?
Her sister.
She's kind. She's sexy. She's a good cook.
Great in the kitchen.
Great in the kitchen.
That is not Valarie at all, but as
amazing. She can amazing dance moves. She can sing.
I feel protected.
She's just incredibly kind, and I think Sarah absolutely loves her for that. And also Sarah, I think, knows that she's not necessarily an easy person to live with, and she knows Em forgives her for that as well.
Loves her for it.
It's nice to embrace the flaws of the characters too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So what drew you to these characters or the project in general?
For me, as an actor, you get these sides and they say, okay, you're going to be auditioning for this, and you read it and go. For me, when I have a visceral reaction right away, where it's not difficult to learn the lines, and it just comes naturally, that's what drew me. It was on the page. It was on the page, and it was like, oh my God, I would love to play this one. I would love to explore it. I know. And I was lucky enough to be hired to do it. Thank you very much. Because I know the Divas were up for this role. I know they were. But yeah, thank you. It was a blessing.
Yeah. For me, it was just reading the scripts and finding these characters so interesting, and knowing that they're at the beginning of a journey, which is a journey of discovery for the characters, but it's also was going to be a journey of discovery for myself and whoever was going to play M. Because as I said earlier, we're sort of slowly drip fed into the first season, and by the end of the first season you have a much clearer idea of who these characters are and what their role and their importance in the show is, and then that then goes on into the next seasons. And so it's a nice sort of slow build, which also gives us time to really make sure that we know who these people are. They're absolutely solid and fully rounded and real people, which is, it's nice, you know. You're not very often as actors you get scripts that are not well written, and or characters that are two-dimensional, but this was different, so we were lucky. Yeah.